Hello, everyone. Amy from the Wakelet team here. Lovely to see so many of you already jumping on and joining us in the chat. Before we get started, you've joined us for the Wakelet Community Showcase. One of my favorite sessions. It's an opportunity for you all to hear from some of our incredible ambassadors, learn some new tips, tricks for using Wakelet. And I know each and every one of you are going to walk away with some great new ideas from this session. Before we get started into that, just wanted to do a few shout outs because I can see a few familiar names in the chat there. And of course, it's always lovely to see our community joining from all over the world. I know Paradis kicked us off there from Kuwait. Oh, actually, Etaram is the name. I was just going by your handle there. But Etaram, lovely to see you. Louise there from Texas. Candy there from Roswell there as well. Fantastic. Hannah there from Oman. Bill there from New Jersey in the US. Fantastic to see you on here. Lajana there from Croatia. Lovely to see you in the chat as well. And please, anyone tuning in, let us know who you are and where you're joining us from. We've got Stephanie there from California. Hey, Stephanie. But yes, please continue to use the chat during this session. One of the great opportunities in these webinars is to connect with each other in that chat as well. Pop handles in there if you've got any Wakelet ideas that you want to share in there. You're going to hear from two incredible ambassadors who are going to share lots of ideas, but please feel free to get involved in the chat as well. Let us know who you are, where you're joining from, and feel free to ask any questions and jump in the chat there as well. Before we do bring on our wonderful guests, just to let you know, if you do have to jump off for whatever reason, or you want to rewatch the session because there's so many great ideas, which I know you will do, we will share out all of the resources, all of the the session recording, and you'll have an opportunity to get your certificate of attendance. And I'll share that link toward the end of the session. So keep an eye on that. Usually around towards the end of the session, I'll send out that link, and then you'll be able to complete that form, get your certificate, and all of the collections, all of the wonderful things you see, we'll pop that into a lovely collection for you, and you'll get that after the session. So keep an eye out for that link, and fill out that form, and you'll get all of those lovely bits there as well. But great to see so many of you in the chat. Like I said, this session is not about listening to me. It is about the two wonderful guests we have with us today. So I'm going to bring on the wonderful Jen Mitchell and Patricia Ferris. Hey guys, how are you?
Not bad. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Lovely to see you both on here. We'll do some intros and lots of lovely names in the chat. So if you see anyone familiar, feel free to say hello. Jen, we'll start with you just to give a little intro to everyone joining us.
I'm Jen. I am an education technology integrationist in Northern Vermont. So I teach like 6 miles from the Canadian border. So I'm really far up there. Woke up to snow this morning.
Amazing.
So and I've been in education for over 20 years.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jen. And over to you, Patricia.
Hi, I'm Patricia Ferris, and I am a technology integration specialist, and I'm in a unit district about an hour south of Chicago, hoping for 75-degree weather tomorrow. And I've also been in education over 20 years.
Fantastic. Yeah, weather-wise, we've actually got some sunshine here in Manchester, so that's quite rare and nice for us. And we're finally starting to see spring coming into full swing. So that's always lovely to see. But lovely to have both of you on and joining us. I've seen some of the things that you guys are going to be sharing. So super excited to hear from the both of you. For now, we're going to hand over to Jen to kick us off. And like I said, everyone in the chat, feel free to share ideas. Let us know who you are and where you're joining from in that chat, and keep the conversation going. Patricia and I are going to jump on back screen and leave it over to you, Jen. Excited to see what you got to share.
So I have to say, I was inspired by talking to Amy before this by Patricia and what she was going to be sharing. So I put together some of my own examples of how I use Wakelet in literally every aspect of my life. So personal use, how I use it with staff, students, and families. So this right here, this collection that I'm over is my project showcase from the end of the year challenge that Wakelet put on. So that shows other examples of what I have down here. So personal collections. I love using Wakelet for planning trips. So one of the things that I did 3 years ago, I think now, was some of my very best friends from high school, some I've known since kindergarten. We took a girls' trip to London 3 summers ago. And this is what I put together a Wakelet for us to keep track. It was the best girls' trip ever. So, it was in columns last time, but that's okay. Let me see. So I have wonderful sections. Is it going to work? Nope. What is going on with my collection? Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Let
it
me
seems
go.
to not be popping it in the column. So
So
yeah.
so I'll just scroll down. So, each day had a different column. So it was Tuesday that we arrived, and I put notes in to kind of describe what we were thinking. Our reservations we did a fancy tea, where we were going. So I added links to what we planned on doing so that we could just quickly click and see what it was. Dinner reservations, so we could look at the menu ahead of time. If anybody hasn't seen And Juliet on Broadway, it's a must. If you live near New York City, I know it was touring in the UK last year, so it was amazing. Hop on, hop off. So, just to give you an idea for this one. My daughter and I actually went back to England last year to tour 2 universities that she was accepted to. And so this was just ideas for us to do in Bath and in London. So it's great for travel. The other thing is I have a collection of recipes. My daughter has IBS. So just to have a quick link to go to for collections. If you were planning a dinner party, you could set it up so that you have, your appetizers, drinks, main course, dessert. You could have all those options there to just go to for a quick reference. Collections for teachers. I have a few. I have a big collection that I put together for teachers. Yay, it stayed in columns that basically go over all of the different AI tools that I use, whether or not we are approved for student use at our school, and then information about each one underneath. So it is a quick one-stop shop for teachers to learn more about AI. I just created a Canva collection, and you guys will have access to all of these because I went to a Canva webinar last night that talked about some different things. So that is another way I have used it. With YouTube's new policies in the US, kids cannot directly go to YouTube. So one of our intensive special needs students will watch like the Sesame Street letter of the day videos, and it wasn't coming up on her iPad anymore because it would bring her directly to YouTube. But with Wakelet, you can embed the video into Wakelet so it works with student accounts. It was beautiful and seamless. So I just added these links as a link onto the student's iPad, and she can click on them and watch them right there. So Wakelet is a great workaround for the new YouTube restrictions. So it does work. I was thrilled with that. This is a collection from when I presented at ISTE last summer. So I co-presented. So it literally lists all of our resources. It really is a quick way to just put everything together in one space. For students, there are so many ways you can use Wakelet with students. I have a collection here, and some of you, if you've been on a webinar with me before, you may have seen this. It's a choice board activity for an end of a unit assessment. So the students could choose which activity they wanted to do, very much in line with UDL. There's also this one I'm using right now in art class, where students are focusing on their habits of mind. So as they go through the school year, they can look at what the habit of mind is, add underneath it what they feel they did to meet that expectation through art class. Again, you can just put together a bunch of resources for students. This is a collection that my art teacher last year put together so that students weren't going directly to museum websites. So they could just click on these and learn about the art from these different areas. So curating those resources for students ahead of time is also a great way to do this. I'm going to come back to this digital drama one in a moment. With families, this is one of my favorite resources that I've ever created. We are a Title I school, and every year we have an academic night for our families. And this put together all the resources that we used for families so they could go back to it over and over again. We had our ELA, math, and our STEAM resources, and I put together links for games that students can play at home digitally, but also directions for the physical games that they played while at school, because they were able to bring those materials home with them. So it was a way for parents to experience it and still have access to that information later. So I'm going to go back here. So we have the paid subscription for our school. And one of the things that I absolutely love is how easy it is to share Wakelet with your students as an assignment. So I know I'm usually used to, and Amy, make sure I'm not doing this wrong, because I'm going to switch my screen that I'm sharing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Let me present again. Share my screen. Window, that one. All right. So is it coming? There it is.
Yeah, we got it.
So I put this together as a playlist for students. So this is based on a common sense education, digital citizenship lesson on digital drama and things that you should be paying attention to when you're online. So this is an activity where they read this, they read the question, and what's great is you've got your immersive reader that will read it to you, which I absolutely love again. And the directions are, create your own notes card below. And the students already know how to do this, so I didn't have to spend time reteaching them. And then I've got images to go along with it. And then as you keep going, there's activities, some videos. But the best part is I don't have to recreate this and share it individually with every single student in all 4 of our 6th grade classes. All I have to do is make a copy. So I am in my school domain. So I'm going to click the classroom. And what's great is you can click more than one. So I might want to also share this with the English class. And then I'm going to click copy. It's there. So now if I go over to 8th grade class resources, it should be there. Oh, I have to click on the student. So the student stuff is right here, and this is where I know it was there before.
It'll be in your shared with me, Jen.
Okay. There it is. Thank you. Oh my goodness. When it's not my own account and I've got different names, it throws me off. So here, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go to, nope. Oh, so no, I wanted it to be
in your actual.
I shared it with the group. So I got to go to my goodness, this shouldn't be so difficult.
Yeah, so I think it's because you haven't created it in the classroom area, so you can set activity.
No, I've done it that way before, where I've shared it with one of the classrooms. So I shared it on here, So it is here in the resources, or it should be. Best laid plans. I practiced it earlier. I swear I practiced it earlier. So I'll just take one of these and I'll show you. So analyzing. So I'm going to make a copy and I'm going to share it with English. And then when I go to English, which of course I don't see down here.
It might be because, like I said, this is a sort of demo account that we're kind of playing around with, so it's not as clean as I'm sure.
No, so basically,
you're using it.
It usually is pretty seamless where you can share it with a class. I'll go back to my other screen because
if you jump back into the virtual classroom, maybe just show you with the creating a collection, you know, just the activity piece, and then jump back to your collection.
Okay. New activity.
No, absolutely fine. Yeah, if you just go back up to the top, yeah, exactly. Or creating a new one. Yeah, if you put it in Miss Jackson.
And that might be what, oh, you know what?
And then go back to the virtual one.
So hold on.
With the little hat.
This is the space. I need the group.
Yeah.
So I needed to put this in with the group.
Everyone watching, this is kind of a demo account, so it's not, like I said, as clean as
so I'm going to share this.
Using.
I'm going to share this with my homeroom, and that's the thing. I was going to a space when I needed to be going. Your group is your classroom. Mm-hmm. And I would have known that based on the fact that I have my class names all set up. So shared with me. Here we go. Make a copy. Sharing it with the group. English literature. English literature. Keep loading.
And it's gone into one that's full of loads of great stuff.
So this is within a group. And once you're in a group, there's a way to make it a collection. There's a way to make it an assignment. And let's see. I don't know that there's any students in here, and that's probably what it is. So I'm going to stop.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fine. It's an old demo one. So it would be in your classroom area. Like I said, that's kind of like a groups area, but.
Yeah. So I'm going back to this. So I'm going to go here and I'll show you. So I'm going to make a copy because I can do it for my own. And I'm going to go to group. So here I've got different classes. And it's copied. And then I can go to my account here and my school account. And here are all my classes. And then, see, there it is. See, now it's seamless.
Yeah.
And if I click on that.
Yours is much more organized, like I said.
So here's the activity piece right here. So all I have to do is type in the instructions for my students. Follow the activity from the top down. And I would put some more specific directions in there. And what I do is I would copy this part because I can share it with multiple classes at one time and then just go into each class and pop those directions in for each one. And once I'm done, it's done. Like the activity's there, start activity. And the students all now have their very own individual copy. So it's very much like you would do on Google Classroom where you would share the doc for everybody. So Candy, I'm so glad this is helpful because yeah, so it is seamless when it's your own account and you know what the classroom names are and things like that. So, and then you can see when you go back to the main class, let me go back to my bears. You can see like how many, active accounts, how many students have finished it. So students have actually worked on their clay piece, but none of them have finished that assignment. So they haven't turned it in for review. So there. Don't pay attention to the first part. Pay attention to this last part.
Love it. Like I said, yes. Jen, obviously we were giving you a kind of demo account, and
Yeah.
it's one that the team uses as well. So it isn't the cleanest at all times.
I swear
So
it worked earlier, but that's all
when
right.
you're
I made it work.
showcasing it and walking through, yeah, it was great to see. And it was great then to see your own, because the activities feature is amazing. And it is a great way to be able to, we speak about kind of saving down the copies and then sending it out to students, but it just makes it one smooth, streamless,
Yeah.
streamline process, which is really nice.
Because it was really hard before that for students to sit there and go to your copy and make their own copy, add their name. Like that just took so much time. This makes it so much easier, and you can pop in as the student and add things if you need to. Help edit if you need to. Like I had some videos that didn't work for students, so I downloaded it. I had their videos on my computer, so I ended up uploading it to each of their individual ones because something was glitching at the time. So it really works really well. Christy. We've got EduGuardians in the house.
Fantastic. Yes, and of course, Christy, it is on YouTube, so you'll be able to catch up on it as soon as it's finished. And Candy also joining in there. Technology can be fun.
It can be.
It's always when someone's watching as well. And on a webinar, that's kind of the rule. So it always happens. But no, it's wonderful to see. And for anyone who hasn't watched or wasn't able to join the personalized learning webinar we did a few months back, Jen was on there sharing a lot more about what she and her teachers do around sort of personalized learning. So many amazing ideas that were shared that you can use with students, particularly with that activities functionality as well. So yeah, I'll pop the link to watch the recording of that in the chat as well, so you can
I'll do that.
take a look. Yes, amazing. As we spoke about,
I'll put the collection. Yep, I'll put the collection Ryan put together in.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Jen. And yeah, so great to see all of the other ideas as well, because like I said, I love how you show it from kind of using it personally. I also love to use Wakelet to plan out trips, because like I said, I love an itinerary anyway, but I like the visual element. So I like them being able to kind of like visualize and get excited as well, but then also share it with others. And of course, how you distribute with your teachers as well, which is great to see. But yeah, amazing to see how you're using it with students, which is, yeah, I'm always blown away to see. So thank you so much, Jen.
Oh, you're welcome.
Fantastic. So I'm going to pop you backstage, a few in the comments. So I'm sure you'll jump in there, and we should be able to bring you back just towards the end there as well. But yeah, for now, thank you so much, Jen. And we'll bring
you're welcome.
We'll see you in a moment. Hello, Patricia. I've been waiting ever so patiently in the kind of backstage area with me there. But yeah, excited to kind of see all of the ideas that you've got and the ways in which you've been using Wakelet as well, because I know, again, you use it in lots of different areas. So it's going to be nice to see all of those kind of ideas. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Your screen is up and ready. So I'm going to pop that on the screen now. And yeah, over to you.
Okay, great. Jen, I cannot wait to check out your Wakelet because I love choice boards. I'd never thought about using Wakelet like in a choice board kind of way. And also love that immersive reader, right? It provides that accessibility for students. So my showcase here, I've just divided it up into three sections, the personal and professional ways that I use Wakelet. First of all, I use Wakelet as a PD presentation. Instead of sharing my entire presentation with attendees, I just share this Wakelet and then they can go through and I have, as I talk through my presentation, they can click on all the links that are inside my presentation. And of course, I also put a copy of it, embeds that presentation right in there. But then I'm just put in the links so they don't have to follow through on my presentation, and then they can be an active participant within that PD. So I love how, I like the linear because I like to be organized and I like to see things that are visually clean, as I could say. And with the addition of sections, oh my goodness, I love those sections. I can be a little bit more organized too. The second way I use it in my personal way is providing a professional learning and leadership Wakelet. I shared this link in my CV if I'm like presenting it for, applying for something. So this has been super helpful, and I've just kind of updated as I go. It's all my presentations that I've done, and just some awards or certifications or things like that. So it's kind of goes in a chronological order from current to it'll backdate a couple of years. But I love this because it just gives a nice clean way of here's what I've done if you want to see my experience, because we can't list all of those presentations and experiences on a CV or resume. It's a great way to just showcase it in a Wakelet. Then here I use it as a note taker. I love with the columns, I take it, I organize notes in a day by day. And I love that I can just type the notes in there, right? And then add the links right inside and under the notes. So that's really helpful to me to organize. When I go back, I'm like, oh yeah, I went to this session on this day, and then it talked about all of this. And then I can add my links right under that as well, and have all those resources in one place. And then I put those extra resources that I can grab from other people in my extra column. So another way I used Wakelet was to, and you can see that I love just those linear fashions because I think they're kind of all in that the design. But anyway, I also saved this or used Wakelet as an evaluation, like evidence. So when I was being evaluated for my supervisor, I had to have one long-term goal and 2 or 3 short-term goals. So I, used the writing piece of it. I just typed in the long-term goals, and then I could link other things in there as the evidence pieces. So this was really helpful for me. And then I just kept all my notes of, during my meetings with administrators and how I was coaching. And then LinkedIn, you can see some of my Wakelets in there, linked in some of my professional resources as evidence. So that's how I used, and here, I guess I had 3 short-term goals, Wakelet for evaluation evidence. So now going on to educators, I support educators by sharing monthly activities. So when I do my monthly newsletters, and I'll just click in to each one of these months and click link in with the activities here. But I just have it starting from January through December. And then of course, all of these are Wakelets. So when they link in and click on these Wakelets, then they'll have all of those available to them. And I've been kind of going back in, and because of the sections, I've been kind of going back in and adding different sections to, as you can see here, to each different day that's celebrated in that month. So that's been really helpful to go in and organize that. But teachers have really loved that I share these monthly activities because they're always like, oh, I want to do something related to this event during this month. So that's the monthly activities. And then of course, I create these Wakelets. The column really helps to provide some of those ideas for stations in their classroom. So those station rotations. So these math stations, it's an acronym for meet with teacher, at your seat, technology, and then hands-on. And then I can share what to do during each of those stations, and then also add resources. Now here's what to do when you meet with teacher, but then add the resources that go along with that. And then technology, here's some different technology websites and games, and then hands-on ideas for that. Teachers have appreciated that as well because they're like, oh, I don't know how to start math stations, but then I can share that with them. Yes, I have used these as newsletters in the past, Candy. I love that we can use newsletters because I used to do a shout out and the integration with Canva, right? I could put in like a teacher shout out, and on Canva, I can create that and then log that in, and teachers love seeing themselves in there for a little shout out. Here's a literacy resource to apply to the Big 5 of reading. So in each column, then I provided a resource for phonemic awareness and those Big 5s under there. Again, giving a little explanation of what that is. So I love that it can support the pedagogical knowledge too under each one. So and of course, loving the text that you can see what I love and what I use a lot of. Having that text that I can embed in there as well as the resources. Yes. Okay. So then the next one is this, since Padlet costs money, after you only get like 3 different Padlets that you can use for free, I love using Wakelet as a Padlet, right? So I used this during one of my presentations. We didn't get to it quite in my last presentation. So where teachers can then add, it's my Suno. If you haven't heard of Suno, it's amazing. It's a music AI app that you just type in, create a song about so-and-so, and then in a different genre. So one of my music teachers, she made this song because her students were acting crazy during transitions. So she's like, I'm going to make a song that's really quick so they can listen to it as they transition about what to do during a transition. So she said it worked beautifully. The kids were like listening to the music and moving to the beat and doing what the words said to do. So this is just a Padlet I use for teachers to add in their music creations during presentation. But anyway, I love using that as a Padlet type feature, Wakelet, right? So they can add in and collaborate and listen to each other's work. And then, of course, I used Wakelet as a Tuesday tech tip. And again, I put the most recent tip in at the top and then just keep adding it, which is very easy, right? So I can just put in like the text and then the different resources that go along with each one of those dates. And this is exclusive to our district and what things that they use within our district. So giving some PD resources, very easy to do. So then lastly, I use Wakelet to help teachers with student work. So one of the ways that students can use it is this deconstructed Freyer model. And if you're familiar with the Freyer model, it's that 4 blocks, right? And the words in the middle. So I thought it's a nice way to kind of make it a linear way to see it and adding the digital in with it. So for this example is with fractions. So students are supposed to give a definition of a fraction, and I gave a sample here. I just recorded my voice with Moat, and you can see it's really nice and embedded right there. They can just play it, listen to what a definition is. So again, like Jen shared, you can just push this out as an assignment, and students can then go in and use this template. And then what characteristics of the fraction? I love the addition of the video, because Flip is gone. So love that you can just record a video right in there. I didn't open my camera, so it's just the audio part of it, but the students can do the same thing. So I recorded the characteristics of a fraction in here. Then, of course, the third part of the Freyer model is providing examples. So then we use the image insertions with Unsplash, and they could also make that image in Canva of what a fraction is, and then some non-examples, same thing here. So the deconstructed Freyer model, my teachers have really loved that because it's an easy linear way to add in an assignment. And then my last 3 I'm going to showcase here is things that I created to help. I used to be a tech coach with a special ed co-op. So just working with the special ed teachers who are rock stars, by the way, in creating some resources for their students. So this one is building a social story. So, if you're familiar with social stories, they're just little images and then talking about how students can handle themselves in different situations. Originally created by Carol Gray here. And if you click on that, it takes you to a link out there. So just explaining what social stories are, and then writing a social story for students when they get mad. So just adding the images from Canva or from integrated images from Unsplash, and then little GIFs. So you can see I want to throw things, I want to hit people, I want to yell, and then I want to cry. If I act this way, I get in trouble. And then I just added those little images in there again. And the kids won't want to be my friend. So I added 2 because I couldn't add 2 different images. I used Canva for that. And then a GIF. When I get mad, I can take a deep breath. So we can just share these out with students when they're different, in different situations. And then I just provided some tips here and for teachers then how to create these for their students. The other way you can use Wakelet for students is just a quick daily check-in because of all the different integrated features within Wakelet. Oh, this is a visual schedule. So the other one, this check-in is my third one here. So a visual schedule to create for students. Normally in classrooms, you might see a visual schedule on their desk, individual visual schedules, or maybe on the wall, but we decided to go digital for this one. And we put the time and the image of the clock and the event unpacking when you come in, and then a picture, and then an explanation of what the picture is. So we created a visual schedule side by side of everything that would happen during the day for the students. So we can pull this up anytime for the kids, or the kids can, share the link, and then the kids can pull it up and they can just have that tab open to go throughout the day. And then the last one, we use Wakelet for daily check-ins. So teachers can share this out and students can then add in their different check-in styles. So of course, you're not going to use all of these in one day, but some different ideas on how to use Wakelet. Just post this prompt. You can use if you have Moat, use it as a prompt to integrate Moat in with it. And then you can just put this one prompt in as your one Wakelet, and then students can add their GIFs in there, their images. And then we use like auto draw. They can just use an auto draw and embed the drawing in there as well, or videos. So a great way to do a daily check-in, have a different Wakelet for each day, or do the column and have it, Monday through Friday for a weekly check-in. So those are all, there's other ways. Obviously, we have so many different ways. I'm sure you all do too, of how we use Wakelet. I use it literally it's open. That tab is just, my Wakelet tab is open, and I just use it every day for so many different things. And it's just, the possibilities are endless, right?
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Patricia. Yeah, like I said, so many great ideas, and always great to see, like I said, Wakelet being used in different areas and kind of the flows that you take with each one and the purpose in which you do, because you are putting links into one place, but there's so much purpose and there's so many different ways in which you can then present that content as well, which I like that you showed really, really nicely. And I'm going to do a shout out to MediaView because although, yes, we have columns and we have loads of great layouts, I also like that kind of linear storytelling way of kind of delivering that content. So I know, Patricia, we've spoken about kind of sections being great for that and being able to kind of add that extra layer of kind of organization with those kind of collections as well. So yeah, I'm all for seeing some really lovely linear MediaView kind of collections as well, which is great to see. But yeah, just touching on, lots of people loved seeing the newsletters and the way in which you archive those into a collection, because I think that's a great way of sharing out all of them. So then again, you've got that one link that your teachers can just refer back to. So whether it's the monthly activities, whether it's something that they can go back and check on in there, or the newsletters, I imagine they find it a lot easier to just go back to that one link each time and be able to just kind of almost check out that archive and see the newest one that you've updated. Do they find that easier to just go back to?
Yes, yeah. So one of the things I didn't show was a resource Wakelet for my one of my districts I used to work with. So everything that I did throughout the year, I would have in that resource Wakelet. So it'd be like all the PD presentations, all the technology apps, all the newsletters, monthly newsletters, and then another column for resources or math, different things like that. So yes, they really appreciated having that resource they can just click onto, bookmark it, go find, and then they're not sending me emails like, hey, remember that PD you did? Can you send me that again? So it's always there. Exactly
that. And I think where you can, it's really great to kind of create those archives or that kind of one-stop shop. I know Jen was showing a few examples as well, but yeah, it was lovely to see that that's all in one place, because that is the idea. It is to combat kind of having so many different locations, so many different places to get all those resources. So yeah, to be able to do that in one area and be able to access all of those it's great to see. So yeah, and loads of people in the chat were saying do the same or with similar things. And like, I really love seeing newsletters in there. Like I said, I think it's a really nice visual way to keep up to date with your teachers, and deliver that information, but in just a little bit more of a sort of like visual and fun way as well. And then just lastly, before we jump off, I have to kind of mention the student examples that you shared as well. I love the Freya model. I love that you use different media, particularly Moat, to have those in, because as we talk about a lot, lots of learners learn in different ways. And what I loved about your student examples is you're using different media types, you're using sort of Moat audio, and again, it creates that kind of self-paced collection, self-paced lesson that your students can independently then go through. But also with the others, with the social stories, getting them to contribute with images as well. That's a really nice way to, it's not always easy to convey your feelings and emotions that you're having with words or with writing it out, but sometimes those images better allow them to kind of express what they're thinking. So it gives them a nice opportunity to kind of have that outlet in a different way as well, and showcase those. Yeah, I really like seeing all the student ones, because like I said, it was great to see. And again, visual schedule as well. all the imagery. I'm very much like that as well. I have to visualize things. I'll take kind of like an admin task that I have to do or an information that I have to take, and I try to make it into something visual. So I digest the information better. So yeah, I those really speak to me for your students as well.
And one of the things, and of course, I had like 3 different Wakelet accounts. So some of the things I lost were great student activities. And so we had, a first grade class use Wakelet to create like a wax museum. So they created, all the information about their person in there. They added their images, they added text. And so they loved having that. So our first grade, because of the ease of images and things like that, loved creating that. And it worked well on their iPad, because then they could just click the audio record, the microphone button, and just talk into it instead of typing. Yeah. So very accessible for all students.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned there with the video as well. I don't know if anyone's, been able to try that out. But yeah, we do have the video, and hoping to have more functionality in that in the future. But again, like you said, there's going to be different ways that students want to convey what they're thinking, what they're feeling, or how they want to present the work. So having these options, or giving them the options, is really important there as well. But yes, so many amazing ideas. I have shared that collection out in the chat, and I have also shared the certificate link. So I know everyone will want to check out all of those collections in their own time as well. So please refer back to that collection and make sure you fill out that form as well to get your certificate. I think that's everything from us. Jen's had to jump off to go and teach as well. So nice, a nice session in the break there. But yeah, Patricia, thank you so much for joining us, and of course Jen as well, for being able to share all of those ideas. Like I said, it's so great to see how you're actually using Wakelet in action, and I'm sure everyone's gotten some great ideas from that as well. So Patricia, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, any just final advice just before you jump off? Over to you for just a moment.
Some advice: check out all the new tools. If you haven't used sections, if you haven't used the videos, like every time I click in there, I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was here. So just experiment with it and all the integrations. And sometimes when I put links in, I'm like, oh, looks beautiful embedded. So, sometimes it's not just a link, it's also the embedded features like Book Creator. You can just click right through the Canva presentations, just click next. So yeah, I love just clicking around and finding new tools.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and a great recommendation there, because sometimes you are pleasantly surprised. We'll shout about them more, but yeah, a lot of the embed links, if they are something really interactive, like your Canva slides, like your book creators, like your Genially pieces that you put together as well, all of those are interactive within a Wakelet collection. So Patricia, great advice. Copy and paste those links in, and yeah, just have a little play around with it. But yeah, for now, Patricia, I'm going to pop you backstage, and thank you ever so much for joining us. Amazing. So yeah, 2 incredible educators there sharing all of the ways in which they're using Wakelet. And I know there's so many more as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. I know you will have taken away some great ideas from that. And we do these sessions every month, so make sure you tune in next time as well. Like I said, if you haven't done so already, make sure you fill out that form. You'll receive all of the resources shared, so all of Patricia's collections as well as Jen's as well. So you can take a look through at your own time. The recording will be in there as well, and you can catch it straight after on the YouTube channel as well. So if you do need to jump off, you can do and go back to it. And of course, any questions at all, please always feel free to reach out. If you have any questions about anything anyone shared, please feel free to reach out to us and the team. And if there's something that you've seen and you want to try it out, but you're not too sure how to start, please do give us a shout as well. But for now, thank you all so much for joining, and hopefully we'll see you very soon at another session next month. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.